Wow. All right, let's get going then. Okay, can you guys hear me all right? Yes? Excellent. All right, so welcome, welcome. Let's start by finding our comfortable seat, whatever that seat feels like, looks like. And I don't often do this. I very much feel that when we use the term meditation there are multiple things that we can mean with that. And there are some meditations, guided meditations, that have a lot to do with visualization, and they are very wonderful, and you should do them. And at the same time, you should also, I hope, try meditation as a practice that does not involve that visual or kind of internal stimulation. But what we're starting with today is, believe it or not, internal stimulation. So find your comfortable seat. As I said, don't do this, but now we're going to do it. Just don't do it all the time. That's my point, is don't be reliant on there being a very fun story involved in your meditation, right? Don't always have that be the case. But we're going to start with that. So comfortable seat. And then as you let your eyes begin to close, and they don't have to close completely. If you want to keep them slightly open, they say like 1/10 open, you can do that. But let the eyes begin to close just so that there is a feeling of the internal world becoming more prominent. And feel yourself where you are. So you're settling into the sensation of your seat. You're not holding yourself away from it, but you're dropping in. You're settling into the sensation of your body. You're not holding yourself away from it. You're dropping in. The sensation of your mind, even if it's messy, if it's wild. Don't hold yourself away, drop in. And all of this is to help you recognize that there is a you that can either be held back or that can drop in. That can be limited and closed, or that can be open. So that experience of the you that is either dropping in or holding back. The observer, that's what we're looking to enter into, that awareness. So the body is the body. Your seat is your seat. Your mind is your mind. And then there is that awareness that we call you, or that you call me. I. The I is able to observe that inner landscape. I would like for you that in this internal landscape, and try not to create this image, but allow it to arise, that you are setting up for your time in meditation, or your time sitting, sacred space. So give that inner landscape a concept of sacred, and allow it to be visual. So maybe it's simply color, impression. Maybe it appears that you are sitting in a church or a temple, even if you are not religious in your life. If that's what comes to you, let it come to you. Maybe it means that you're out in the forest or by the ocean, under the night sky, it doesn't matter. But set yourself in this feeling that you are sitting in sacred space. And you are dropping your awareness into that experience of what is sacred. What is deeply in tune with your inner experience of the divine. So it's not the material world. Something that's sacred is not mundane. It's not the regular way that you live in yourself. It's the special. Sacred, held with reverence. You're letting your awareness drop into that feeling of reverence. for the space in which you are sitting. Whatever imagery arises, let it arise and hold it. And if nothing arises, hold that nothing space with reverence. It is equally part of the divine. And that I that is sitting, watching, resting in that sacred space, that I is also part of the divine. Begin to hold it with reverence. And all of the definitions and things that may come up with that word, them float like dust in the air, and just feel the reverence for this space that you are sitting in. The I that is sitting in that space. You can begin to visualize that I is like a candle flame. Very traditional to see that at the heart center, but it can be anywhere. The I that is sitting, any version of yourself that is sitting in that inner world, becomes like a candle flame. So your awareness is on that inner spark of light that begins to consume, embrace the entire concept of I. It's just this brilliant light, even if it's only a pinprick in the darkness. You hold that light with reverence. Like you are gazing at that inner flame. Let it fill the inner vision so that whatever other background begins to fade, and there's only that bright light. The feeling of reverence. This moment of staring into that bright light is sacred. Should not be ignored, should not be thrown away. Letting the light grow bigger and bigger, it fills your vision. Maybe you even imagine yourself, your physical self, sitting within it, embraced by warmth, illumination, clarity, even purity, refinement, if that's what comes. Sitting within that flame, feeling yourself wholly alive. Then allow the image of the flame to become something that you can see again against a background. Like you're gazing again at a candle. You can allow the sensation of reverence, of inner warmth to remain. Begin to allow the image of the candle flame of your sacred space to dissolve as you start to breathe, inhaling through the right nostril mentally, exhaling through the left, inhaling through the left nostril, exhaling through the right. Again, all mental, no hands. Inhaling through the right nostril, exhale left, inhaling through the left, exhale through the right. Continue like that, breathing in through one nostril, exhaling out through the other, just with the focus of your mind, following the breath. If you can maintain that feeling of reverence for the breath as it flows in, and reverence for the breath as it flows out. Let that be the thread that your awareness connects to, doesn't leave. You lose the flow of the breath, just begin again, noticing as you inhale through one nostril, exhale out the opposite. Stimulating the two main nadis in the body, Ida and Pingala, right and left, sun and moon. We are still in full moon energy. It's a state where your inner world, your intuitive voice awareness, it's heightened naturally. Keep breathing in through one nostril, out through the other, using just the power of your mind. And the next time you exhale through your right nostril, release the attention on the breathing pattern. Bring your thumb and pinky finger of each hand together to touch. Letting the hands rest on the knees or the thighs. So just each hand, thumb and pinky finger to touch. It's a mudra for listening, deep listening, communication. So to be in the inner landscape and to listen. No attempts to insert into that space or to place anything there. You can have the invitation to invite whatever needs to be heard to be made clear to you. And then you simply wait, open. maybe things come and maybe they don't, and it doesn't matter. Hold that open space with reverence. This inner world should not be ignored or thrown away. One more full breath. As you exhale, release the thumb and the pinky fingers. If you are seated and able to walk yourself forward into a forward fold, please do that. If you are not able to come into a forward fold, maybe rubbing the palms together and then placing the hands over the eyes. It's giving yourself the experience of covering the eyes, covering the forehead, going into darkness. And holding that darkness with reverence. The darkness is the backdrop for your light to experience that inner flame. Place to let go so that things can just be as they are. This is what we use meditation for, is a place where we can go, where things are just as they are. And then slowly release, walking yourself back up. Good, letting the eyes float open if they have been closed. So there's a technique that's often, or a suggestion that's often given, it's not really a technique per se. And maybe it's something for you to try during this time, or maybe at any time you can really do it. But again, full moon energy is a great time for working with your intuitive voice or working with that inner world, inner landscape. So the suggestion is always that if you have questions weighing on you, things going on in your life that you're looking for clarity on, is that you pose the question to yourself, your own intuitive self, your higher self, capital S self, and then you sit in meditation, right? So you ask the question, you sit in meditation for however long you want. You can set a timer, you can just sit until you feel like you've sat for enough. And whatever comes through you, right, after a few moments, you open your eyes and you just write, free writing, right? Whatever's coming through, whatever's coming up, you just write. And then when you feel like you've written everything that's relevant, you put your pen down, you go back to sit and meditate, right? So it's a practice in listening, because as soon as we ask a question, we have a tendency to jump to the answer that we want to hear, right? And that's not always the answer that's true, and it's not always the answer we need. So working with that intuitive self is really being in that state of mind that is just listening. It's not looking for anything. So you ask the question, you sit and meditate, and then you write. And some of that will be the nonsense of your mind, and some of it will be legitimately your intuition. And then you sit and meditate again, right? Clear off that layer of your mind, go deeper. And you can do this over and over again with the same question if you wanted to, or anything, right? But it's an opportunity to, again, work with that flow of the inner world into the outer world, right? So again, meditation, I don't think should always be used for this purpose, but it is a lovely purpose to use it for. So if you've never tried that before, I highly recommend it. It can be very useful. And also a great exercise, again, for just recognizing your own intuitive understanding of what your life needs. Right. All right, move a little bit, maybe change your seat if you need to. So a little cat-cow is nice, little circling. If your seat still feels perfect, don't change a thing. Good. And then find yourself coming back to steadiness. Good, letting the eyes close again if they'd like. Again, you can always leave them partially open to any degree that you want. Open-eyed meditation can be very powerful also. But with the focus inward, again, become aware of the physical aspect of your body. All the sensations of your muscles, your bones, physical self. And also notice the one that is watching, the eye that is watching, that is observing. Because you are able to watch and observe this body, you can repeat to yourself internally, I am not this body. And become aware of the breath, the flow of the breath in and out. And not the physical act of breathing, but the way the breath, the feeling of aliveness that comes with breathing. The subtle feeling of that flow through the body. Call this the pranic body. Subtle energy. And become aware of the one that is watching, that is observing. And because you are able to observe this flow of energy, this flow of breath, you can repeat to yourself, I am not this breath. I am not this energy flow. And become aware of the feeling, the sensation of your mind, the thoughts, how they move. No point in labeling. You're just looking at them. But there are thoughts. And you're aware of the one who is watching, who is observing. And because you can watch your thoughts, you can repeat to yourself, I am not my thoughts. I am not this mind that is thinking. And you let that go. So you bring yourself into that inner space of the intuitive mind, where there is no thinking, there's just knowing. Even if you're not sure what that should look like or feel like, it's just the space behind your mind. If your mind is acting on stage, there is a backstage. This is the intuitive intellect, the intuitive mind. And you're aware again of the one who is watching, who is observing. Because you can observe this space behind your mind, you can repeat to yourself, I am not this intuitive mind. You let that go and your awareness goes wider. Goes wider into that experience of everything you have ever known. Everything you have a name for. Even just that experience of knowing, having time and place. And being you're aware of the one who is watching, who is observing. Because you can observe this sensation, this identity of having time and space and knowing. You can repeat to yourself, I am not this knowing. I am not this time, this place. And your awareness goes wider. And perhaps it's going wider into a place that is undefined. So all you repeat to yourself is, I am. Repeat it with every breath, I am. And don't fill in the blank, I am. The one who is watching, you are even able to watch yourself watching. And so you are not the observer. Every breath, I am. In that I am, you include space of the observer, but not limited. You include the space of knowing things, time and place, but not limited. I am includes the intuitive voice, place behind your mind, but not limited. I am includes the thinking mind and the thoughts, but not limited. I am includes the breath, the subtle flow, the energetic self, but not limited. I am includes the physical body, but not limited. So every breath into I am holds every piece of this experience in reverence. That's the practice, is you're not allowed to leave anything out. You breathe into I am and you include everything, even what you cannot name or describe, especially what you cannot name and describe. And the truth we come to is I am everything and I am nothing. You hold both of those concepts in reverence. Bring your attention back to your physical seat. Bring your attention back to the flow of your breath. Maybe choose not to pick up all the activity of your mind, but know that it's there. And then bringing the hands together in front of the heart, rub your palms. And then steadying the hands at the heart, feeling the warmth from the hands flow through the arms, through the chest, throughout the entire body, become full of warmth. This inner world should not be ignored or thrown away. It's where you live. So fill it with warmth and hold it with reverence. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend until I see you again. If you need a snack, go eat a snack mindfully. You can unmute and let me know how that went if you'd like, or enjoy being in silence and go do what's in your day to do.
It's really good. Thank you.
That's fun, right?
That was good.
Thank you, Veronica.
You're welcome.
Very powerful.